The sun was shining brightly on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, a perfect day for a quiet picnic in the park. Families were spread out on checkered blankets, children were laughing as they tossed frisbees, and the gentle lapping of the pond created a peaceful soundtrack for the idyllic scene. It was the kind of day that felt like it was pulled straight from a postcard, a moment of pure, uninterrupted serenity. But nature, as we know, has its own plans. And sometimes, those plans involve a squadron of highly organized, feathered commandos who believe that this particular patch of grass belongs exclusively to them, and they are not afraid to enforce their claim with extreme prejudice. Suddenly, a shadow fell over the sunbathers. It wasn't a cloud, it was a V formation of Canada geese, descending from the sky like a fleet of bombers on a mission. They landed with a series of surprisingly heavy thuds, their webbed feet slapping against the manicured lawn. The air, once filled with laughter, was now pierced by a series of loud, declarative honks. This wasn't a friendly greeting, it was a battle cry. The geese fanned out, their long necks held high, their dark eyes scanning the area for any sign of weakness. The peace was officially over, the invasion had begun, and these birds were not here to make friends or share their space. The scene quickly devolved into a state of controlled chaos, orchestrated by these avian overlords. One particularly bold goose, likely the general of this feathered army, marched directly toward a family's picnic blanket, its neck outstretched and a low hiss emanating from its beak. The family, startled and unsure how to react to such brazen audacity, quickly gathered their sandwiches and retreated. The goose then proceeded to inspect their abandoned feast, letting out a triumphant honk as if it had just conquered a new territory. Other geese followed suit, patrolling the park with an air of absolute authority, causing people to nervously shuffle out of their way. It was a masterful display of intimidation, a beautiful and slightly terrifying example of wildlife taking back the land. These weren't just birds looking for a handout. They were warriors defending their kingdom. They moved with purpose, a unified force that communicated with sharp calls and synchronized movements. The humans, with all their modern complexities, were no match for the simple, unyielding confidence of a goose on a mission. The park, for this afternoon at least, was no longer a shared public space. It was Goose Nation, and we were all just living in it, or more accurately, running from it. When you get a close look at a goose, you start to understand why they command such respect, and sometimes, a healthy dose of fear. They are built like feathered tanks, perfectly designed for both graceful flight and ground-level dominance. An adult Canada goose can stand over 3 feet tall, and with a wingspan that can stretch to nearly 6 feet, they are truly impressive creatures. When those massive wings start flapping, not in flight but as a warning, they create a powerful, intimidating sound. It's a clear signal that you have entered their personal space, and they are politely, or not so politely, asking you to leave immediately. Their most famous weapon, of course, is that long, elegant neck, which is far more than just a tool for reaching tasty underwater plants. It's a periscope, a warning signal, and a weapon all in one. When a goose feels threatened, that neck will stretch out, parallel to the ground, as it lets out a menacing hiss. This posture is universally understood in the animal kingdom. I am big, I am serious, and you are too close. Their beak, which looks rather unassuming, is serrated along the edges, designed for tearing tough grasses. While it's not razor sharp, a pinch from a determined goose is something you will not soon forget. Let's not forget their eyes. Geese have incredibly sharp vision, which is essential for spotting predators from high in the sky or across a wide open field. But on the ground, those dark, beady eyes seem to stare right into your soul, judging your every move. They are constantly scanning their environment, assessing threats with a cold, calculated focus. This intense gaze is part of their defensive strategy. It makes you feel like you are being watched and evaluated, and it often convinces potential threats, including curious humans, that it's probably best to just keep walking and avoid any sudden movements. Finally, their powerful legs and webbed feet are not just for swimming. They provide a stable, powerful base for their confrontational displays. A goose can charge with surprising speed, their body low to the ground and their wings partially flared for balance and intimidation. It's a sight that has sent many an unsuspecting parkgoer scrambling for safety. Every part of the goose, from the tip of its beak to the end of its tail feathers, is designed for survival. And in a world full of dangers, their strategy is to be bolder, louder, and more intimidating than anything that dares to challenge them. To truly understand why a goose acts like the world's most overprotective bodyguard, you have to understand one simple, powerful truth. It's all about family. Geese are incredibly loyal and social creatures, and their aggressive behavior is almost always rooted in a fierce instinct to protect their loved ones. They mate for life, forming strong, monogamous bonds that can last for decades. This devoted partnership is the core of their social structure. When you see two geese together, you are witnessing a deep and lasting commitment, and they will defend that bond with every ounce of their feathered fury. This protective instinct goes into overdrive during nesting season in the spring. The female or goose will sit on the eggs for about a month, making her extremely vulnerable. During this time, the male, known as a gander, becomes a full-time security guard. He will stand watch tirelessly, patrolling the perimeter of the nest with unmatched vigilance. He will challenge anything and anyone that comes too close, from a curious squirrel to a person on a bicycle. His hissing, honking, and charging are not random acts of aggression. They are the desperate pleas of a father trying to ensure the safety of his unborn children. Once the goslings hatch, the entire family unit becomes a mobile fortress. The fluffy yellow babies are incredibly precious and vulnerable, and both parents are on high alert 24/7. They will often walk in a single file line with one parent in the front and the other in the back, sandwiching their precious cargo between them. This is a brilliant defensive formation. If a threat approaches, one parent can confront it head-on while the other parent herds the goslings to safety. They are communicating constantly with soft honks and calls, coordinating their efforts to keep the family safe from harm. This fierce loyalty isn't just for their immediate family. Geese live in large groups called flocks, and they look out for each other. When they are feeding in a field, you will often see a few geese standing guard with their heads up, acting as sentinels for the entire group. If they spot danger, a loud alarm honk will send the whole flock into the air. So, the next time a goose hisses at you, try not to take it personally. You haven't done anything wrong. You've just accidentally stumbled into the security zone of one of nature's most dedicated and fearless families. Geese are masters of adaptation, and nowhere is this more evident than in their conquest of our cities and suburbs. Originally, these birds preferred quiet marshes and wetlands, far from the hustle and bustle of human activity. However, as we developed more and more land, we inadvertently created the perfect goose paradise: sprawling city parks, lush golf courses, and manicured corporate campuses. These places offer everything a modern goose could ever want. They have wide-open lawns for grazing, a clear line of sight to spot predators, and decorative ponds for swimming and bathing. It's like a five-star all-inclusive resort for waterfowl. Living in these urban environments has made geese even bolder than their country cousins. In the wild, a goose has to worry about natural predators like foxes, eagles, and coyotes. But in the city, most of those threats are gone. Their biggest annoyance is us, and they have learned over time that humans are, for the most part, pretty harmless. We might yell or wave our arms, but we rarely pose a real danger. This has taught them that they can get away with a lot more. They have learned to stand their ground, to challenge us for space, and to treat our picnic blankets as their personal buffets. This newfound confidence is amplified by their sheer numbers. In a protected urban environment with plenty of food and few predators, goose populations can grow very quickly. A small flock can turn into a massive gathering in just a few seasons. This leads to them taking over entire parks or golf courses, leaving their droppings everywhere and becoming a nuisance to the people who want to use the space. They are not being malicious, they are simply taking advantage of the ideal habitat we have created for them. Their success is a direct result of our own landscaping choices. Furthermore, city geese have become incredibly savvy. They have learned the schedules of park maintenance crews, the locations of the best handouts, and even how to use crosswalks, sometimes holding up traffic as they lead their little goslings safely across the road. They are no longer just wild animals passing through. They are permanent residents who have integrated themselves into the fabric of urban life. They are the tough, street-smart birds of the neighborhood, and they have proven that they have what it takes to thrive in the concrete jungle, even if it means ruffling a few human feathers along the way. While their aggressive antics often steal the spotlight, it's important to remember that geese play a vital and often overlooked role in the health of our ecosystems. Think of them as nature's gardeners and landscapers. Their diet consists almost entirely of plant matter. They graze on grasses, sedges, and aquatic plants, and in doing so they help to control plant growth. By trimming the lawns of the wild, they prevent certain plants from becoming overgrown and dominating an area, which allows a wider variety of species to thrive. This grazing helps maintain the balance of wetlands and grasslands. Their messy eating habits are actually a gift to the environment. When geese eat berries or plants with seeds, they don't digest everything perfectly. As they travel from place to place, they disperse these seeds in their droppings. This is a process called seed dispersal, and it is crucial for plant life. A goose might eat seeds in one pond and then fly several miles away to another field, effectively planting new life in a new location. They are helping forests and meadows regenerate and spread, carrying the building blocks of new ecosystems in their bellies as they travel across the country. Geese are also incredible travelers, undertaking massive migrations every spring and fall. These long journeys are not just about finding warmer weather, they are also about moving nutrients across the landscape. When a goose feeds in the rich agricultural fields of the south and then flies north to its nesting grounds, it brings those nutrients with it. Its droppings, rich in nitrogen and phosphorus, act as a natural fertilizer for the nutrient-poor soils of the Arctic tundra. They are a key part of a massive, continent-spanning cycle of fertilization that supports life in some of the harshest environments on Earth. Even their droppings, which can be a major nuisance on our sidewalks and parks, serve a purpose in a natural setting. In wetlands and ponds, their waste adds essential nutrients to the water, which helps support the growth of algae and tiny aquatic organisms. These small creatures, in turn, become food for fish and other wildlife. While we may see them as messy in the grand scheme of nature, geese are constantly working to fertilize, plant, and prune the world around them. They are far more than just grumpy park residents. They are feathered farmers of the sky. The central conflict between humans and geese boils down to one simple issue: real estate. We both love the same kind of property. We like wide-open, grassy spaces with waterfront views, and it turns out, so do they. Parks, golf courses, athletic fields, and waterfront lawns are prime real estate in our world, and we've designed them for our own recreation and enjoyment. Unfortunately, we accidentally created the perfect habitat for Canada geese, and now they think it belongs to them. This has led to an ongoing turf war, a classic battle over territory between two very successful species. One of the biggest sources of friction is their droppings. A single goose can produce over a pound of waste every single day. When you have a flock of 100 geese living in a park, that adds up very quickly. These droppings can make grassy areas unpleasant and unsanitary for picnics, sports, and other human activities. They can also contain bacteria that may contaminate water sources like ponds and reservoirs, posing a potential health risk. While it's a natural process for the geese, it creates a significant management problem for the people who share that space. Another major point of conflict is their protective nature, especially during the spring nesting season. A gander defending his nest can be incredibly aggressive, and he doesn't distinguish between a real threat and an innocent jogger. This can lead to some frightening encounters, with geese chasing people, biting, or striking them with their powerful wings. While serious injuries are rare, the experience can be terrifying, especially for children. These confrontations make people feel unsafe in their own community spaces, leading to calls for goose removal or control measures. Ultimately, the problem is one of overlapping worlds. We have invited them into our spaces, even if by accident, by creating environments that are irresistible to them. We offer them manicured lawns for food and safety from predators, and then we get upset when they accept the invitation and make themselves at home. They are not trying to be difficult, they are simply behaving like geese. The challenge we face is finding a way to manage these shared spaces so that both humans and geese can coexist, without constantly being locked in a battle for control of the local park. Geese have been a significant part of human culture for thousands of years, long before they became famous for photobombing picnics and chasing mail carriers on the internet. In ancient Rome, geese were hailed as heroes. According to legend, in 390 BC, a flock of geese living at the Temple of Juno saved the city from a surprise attack. While the Roman guards and their dogs slept, the geese heard the approaching enemy soldiers and began to honk and cackle loudly, waking the defenders and saving the city. For this act, they were honored as sacred guardians of Rome. In many other cultures, geese are symbols of loyalty, endurance, and the changing of the seasons. Their epic migrations were seen by many Native American tribes as a powerful sign of connection to the rhythm of the earth. The V formation of a flying flock has been interpreted as a symbol of community and teamwork, where each bird supports the others to achieve a common goal. In Celtic mythology, geese were messengers between the world of humans and the spirit world, seen as creatures that could travel between realms. They have always been more than just birds. They have been powerful symbols in our stories. In our modern era, geese have found a new kind of fame, as internet superstars. Videos of geese causing chaos go viral almost daily. We watch with a mix of terror and laughter as they chase golfers, steal snacks, and stand their ground against cars. They have become the subject of countless memes, often portrayed as feathered agents of chaos or the grumpy territorial bosses of the bird world. This internet fame has given them a new cultural identity. They are no longer just wildlife, they are characters in our digital lives, providing endless entertainment with their bold and unapologetic behavior. This blend of ancient respect and modern humor creates a fascinating picture of our relationship with geese. We admire their loyalty and strength as the Romans did, but we also find their aggressive antics hilarious from the safe distance of a screen. Whether they are seen as sacred guardians, symbols of teamwork, or just nature's funniest bullies, geese have firmly cemented their place in human culture. They demand our attention, whether through heroic deeds or by simply refusing to move out of the bike lane, and they continue to be a source of wonder, frustration, and laughter. Living peacefully alongside geese is entirely possible, but it requires a bit of understanding and respect for their boundaries. The number one rule for getting along with geese is simple: give them their space. This is especially true during the spring and early summer when they are nesting and raising their young. If you see a goose or even a pair of geese, just walk around them. Don't try to get close for a picture, and definitely don't let your dog run up to them. Most goose confrontations can be avoided by simply choosing a different path and letting them be. If you do find yourself in a tense standoff with a goose, it's important to know how to de-escalate the situation. Never turn your back and run. This can trigger their chase instinct. Instead, maintain eye contact, stand your ground, and slowly back away. Don't shout or act aggressively, as this will only make the goose more defensive. Speak in a calm, low voice as you retreat. By showing the goose that you are not a threat and that you are respecting its space by leaving, you can usually end the encounter peacefully without any hissing, chasing, or wing-flapping drama. One of the most important things we can do to reduce conflict is to stop feeding them. It might seem like a kind gesture, but feeding geese teaches them to associate humans with food. This makes them bolder and more aggressive in their attempts to get handouts. It also encourages them to gather in large numbers in places like parks, which leads to overcrowding and sanitation problems. Bread and other human foods are also unhealthy for them. Letting geese find their own natural food sources is better for them and safer for us in the long run. Ultimately, the best way to coexist is to see the world from their perspective. They're not being mean or malicious, they are just being geese. They are protective parents, loyal partners, and adaptable survivors who are doing their best to raise a family in a world we both share. By understanding their behavior and respecting their needs, we can learn to appreciate these feathered warriors for what they are, a bold, beautiful, and sometimes hilariously grumpy part of the natural world. They may be the cobras of the sky, but with a little space and understanding, we can all enjoy the park together.